What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're talking about one that very much surprised me that I got in recently from Aroma Concepts. This is from Paris Corner. This is Voux Zeste, which is an inspired interpretation of Xerjoff's Casamarati Lyra. Now, I've never tried Lyra, so as far as accuracy to it, I don't know. And honestly, I don't care, because this is captivating the way it smells, and that's all that really matters. Because I'm impressed by this one. Let's discuss it. Stay tuned. So again, this was sent by Aroma Concepts. That has absolutely nothing to do with what I feel about the fragrance. If you are interested in checking it out, there's a link and a code down below. Obviously, you don't have to make any purchases to check out this video. I'm just glad you're here. But if you are interested, check out the video description box below. Let's get into this review. So first things first, we got to look at this presentation because it's actually worth looking at. You have this fuzzy felt-like feel, kind of similar to some of the Xerjoff bottles and Suspiro bottles. This plate on the front, Voux Zeste in the Emir line. Sticker on the bottom, it's an eau de parfum. Emir logo on top of the cap. Nothing on the back. It does hold pretty well into place. Doesn't click, but it holds well. Decent amount of metal. Paris Corner on top of the atomizer with decent sprayer. Does a good enough job. Let's talk about this scent. So from what I remember, this is marketed as a women's fragrance, and I think that's just crazy talk. I don't think this is feminine. I think it's perfectly unisex. If anything, kind of leans a little masculine to me. So the way the citruses come across, blood orange, bergamot, all the good stuff, it's very rindy, like the peel, not just the fruit that you eat of the citrus. Juicy, rindy, a little green. The licorice here does kind of jump out and add this odd characteristic. But the notes I've seen from Aroma Concepts site doesn't list anything green, but I get like a basil, green leaf, lightly somewhat spiced green smell. And the vanilla here is on par with the way that Altaire's vanilla smells, Anise vanilla smells, Imperium from Electimus, that type of vanilla, that woody vanilla base. I get that base. All three of those kind of share a similar woody vanilla base. It goes in that family to me. This is incredible. This is surprising. Heavy citrus, but not that just fun, fresh, lemonade kind of thing going or anything like that. There's depth here. There's character to this scent profile. It's more interesting for being a citrus vanilla fragrance is how I would categorize this. A woody vanilla citrus. That's the main things I get from it. Again, I get a touch of green. I get a hint of powder. I get a little bit of this licorice that is listed, but it doesn't have that straight up just black licorice candy dominant smell that can be off-putting to some, but it does give this kind of slight, what's the word I'm looking for? Not bitter and not sour, but somewhere in that realm of closer to bitter than sour. It just makes it a more interesting scent profile. I just really like this. If I was to tell you close your eyes, spray this on your skin, the quality here surprises me to the point of where I would be surprised if you would guess it's a Paris Corner super affordable cheap Middle Eastern fragrance. Because the quality here is actually that good. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. It doesn't have a heavily synthetic smell to it. Not to me. Some may disagree, and maybe they only smell $1,000 fragrances all the time. I don't know. Even those have synthetics in it. They just have high-grade synthetics. But, I mean, this is synthetics. Don't get me wrong. It's not a natural oils being used here, but it comes across as a more authentic smell to the way the citrus is, the way the vanilla comes across. It's absolutely stunning. This is so good that I really need to try Lyra if this is supposed to be similar to Lyra. Because that's my motto when it comes to cloning a niche fragrance. If the clone's that good, the original must be phenomenal. And I'm willing to bet. And that's usually the case. If I'm captivated by a clone and I try the clone first, Usually when I get around to the original, it's like, ooh, wow. For this to be that good, that's what it's replicating. No wonder, you know. I have a feeling that's going to be the case here. So I strongly encourage, if you can sample this, I don't know how easy it would be, sample it. But this is not a feminine fragrance. This is a beautiful woody vanilla citrus fragrance that I think you can wear year round. It has enough depth and density to it to work in cooler weather, but enough open freshness that's not over the top like a watery citrus to work in the warmer months as well. Day and night, dare I say, signature scent worthy type of vanilla. Yeah, I'm digging Voux Zeste. I wanted to focus before we move into the performance because this stuff is just, man, so impressively good to me. What a great smell. Now, as far as performance, 6 to 8 hour range and longevity, above average stuff, really like 6 to 7 hours. It could be a little bit of nose fatigue to where it's probably even stronger than that if I'm clocking it easily at 6 to 7 hours of still having some pretty good strength. Projection is pretty hefty up front. I wouldn't call it moderate to heavy, like bordering being a beast or anything, but it's a little bit better than just basic average. I'm still going to call it moderate arm's reach kind of stuff, but I think it's a little bit better than that. But for conformity's sake, it's moderate projection for a solid hour to hour and a half. And then the sillage here, I think, falls into that moderate range as well, where pretty decent whiffs. It constantly reminds me it's there with certain movements, turning my head, stepping forward, stepping back. I get nice little whiffs of it. Again, I don't get full-on, severe nose fatigue where I can't smell it, because I can smell it pretty constantly. And again, if I am experiencing some nose fatigue, which we all experience it to different degrees with every fragrance, it could be even stronger than I'm giving it credit for. I can't be certain because nose fatigue does that, right? I don't think I'm experiencing much of it, but that's what I can safely tell you has been my experience thus far with this fragrance. Is 6 to 8 hour range longevity, moderate projection for about an hour to an hour and a half, and then moderate sillage the rest of the way. All in all, slightly above average performance. Final thoughts on Voux Zeste from Paris Corner. This is a really good fragrance from Paris Corner. I've heard wonderful things about Voux Elegante, their version of Naxos from my buddy Jim's. Shout out to Hidden Gems. Need to explore this particular line from Paris Corner further because this is a great first outing for what I've tried from them. Really, really, really like this fragrance. I wore it like 2 days ago. I've done several test sprays as well, and yeah, I like it. I think it's an 8.5 out of 10 overall. It's a great fragrance. Some of Paris Corner's best, definitely top 10 Paris Corner worthy. Not my favorite from Paris Corner. That's Coconut Lagoon. Hands down, it's not even close. But this is definitely in their top 10 because I've got a lot of Paris Corner fragrances at this stage. I've got an entire large fragrance collection from Paris Corner at this point. And this falls into the top 10 very easily. So yeah, for me, 8.5. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Voux Zeste from Paris Corner. Thank you so much, Aroma Concepts, for sending me that random package. I had no clue it was coming in. I had no idea this was going to be in the package. And this was the star of that package for me. Hence why it's the first one getting a full review. Most of them were feminine releases that my wife really enjoyed, like Care Felicity and so on. It was mostly girly fragrances. And this was technically a women's fragrance, but no, it's technically not either. When you smell it, you see the note lineup. How is that a women's release? I think it's a unisex release personally that leans a little touch masculine. I love it. I strongly recommend it. So that's my thoughts. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe before you leave. We'll see you on the next one.